Hey Stampers, I am Dennis here with DDStamps.com, and we are going to try this again. So my first one, I don't know, I got disconnected. My connection's not very strong tonight, so we might have some issues, but I'm just going to kind of work through them and keep working. Tonight we're talking about the memorable bloom set. I've got some great projects to show you. They're part of my tutorial for the month of February. So let me switch my camera and let's get started. So the memorable bloom set is this one here. There's something about flowers, especially this time of year when we have had so much snow this week. And tons of snow and cold, cold weather. And it sounds like we're getting another storm tonight and another block of really cold weather next week. So this is the set, and these are the dies. And the dies are really cool. So these two cut out the images. This one cuts out an image. Yay! Somebody made it. Kathy, I kind of lost it on the other, I started the other channel, but it didn't work. So hopefully this will stay working. And then it's got these three that cut out those three images. And then this great label, which I can't wait to show you that. And then this die, which is a lot of fun. And then this this leafy thing. So those are the dies that we're going to be using tonight. Some of the other stuff that happens. So if you place an order with me in the month of February, you get the tutorial for free, PDFs with all the measurements and instructions. If your order is over $50, you'll get a packet of supplies from me. And this month, the supplies, well, they always include the cardstock for all of the cards. They're going to include some of the party dots, which you can see. This is actually my second pack. I'm using them up like crazy. I love those. Some of the white ribbon we're going to be using tonight. And then the vellum in the Floral Delight. And I love this vellum. It's so pretty. So that's what we're using. And like I said, you will get all of these products in your packet if you place an order in February. And don't forget it's celebration, which just means you get free stuff, and Stampin' Up! Just added a whole bunch more free stuff. And they've also updated the clearance, or not the clearance rack, they don't call it anymore, the last chance list. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start. I've got the cards kind of laid out here. This is the first one. It's the Love and Thanks card. I'm going to lay that there so you can see it. And I've actually cut my cardstock for tonight. I'm looking to see. I don't think I scored this. I'm going to go ahead and score it because it's the thick cardstock, basic white. And sometimes, especially depending on how you have cut your cardstock, this one is cut the as they would say, hot dog bun way. Sometimes if it's too thick, it'll kind of crack at the edge there. So there's my base. I'm going to go ahead and come in with that gingham vellum. And this one, we're going to cut down. This is just a half sheet of the vellum. Actually comes 12 by 12. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And what I liked about this vellum is that sometimes when you're using vellum, if you use adhesive on it, it shows through. However, this adhesive does not show through. Hey, Diana, you found me. Good. Yay. I got booted off the other one because my streaming was so low. So hopefully this one will work. And then I've got these pieces cut here. And this one too. So this piece of basic, this is just basic white. It's going to get layered onto this piece of Melon Mambo. And then this is actually going to get put. I used some dimensionals, so I'm going to use up these dimensionals here. I like to use all of the parts of my dimensionals, as you can tell. I'm going to have to grab another sheet here shortly because I know I need them for other projects. All right, so this one's going to get placed right in the middle. And my base is ready to go. So on this piece, I'm going to pull out the stamp. I'm going to use this big stamp here, this big flower. I love this big flower. I just think I love all flowers. And like I said earlier, it's... Oh, well, I'm glad that you're on. I'm glad that you were late, so you didn't even know what happened. Yeah, I'll have to get on and see. I don't know what happened. It just said my streaming was weak. Which doesn't surprise me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And granted, did you see where I caught an edge there? It's not going to matter because I'm going to use the die and I'm going to cut that off anyway. So, all right, so for this particular flower, one of the things I'd used is Pool Party. As you can see on my leaves, they're all Pool Party. So I'm going to start with my lighter color and just color in the leaf. I'm using the brush end, and I don't normally do that because I normally use the bullet point. So I think I'm going to switch because I just didn't feel like I had control. And I definitely have control with the bullet tip. So all of the leaves are going to get colored with Pool Party. And it's just the first layer, so it doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to come in with a little darker Pool Party and do a little bit of blending. I just love I don't know what it was, but these leaves are beautiful done in Pool Party. Kind of an out of the box. Get them all colored here. I feel like I should have music on, but then YouTube would probably shut me down too for that. So, all right, so there's the first layer. And now I'm going to come in with a darker and just add a little bit of shading. Not a lot. Doesn't really need a lot. I'll feel better when I cut that off. All right. And then just to keep with it to blend, I'm going to go ahead with the Pool Party and just kind of blend over the top of that just slightly so I don't have any harsh lines. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because you have blue leaves. All right, then I'm going to come in with these colors, and I'm going to start with Pretty in Pink. And go ahead and add some color to these flowers. I hope my head's not in the way. And I'm just kind of laying down a base of Pretty in Pink. I'll do the big flowers first, and then I'll probably sneak in and do the littler flowers. And go in with a little bit of the darker shade of pink. Shade that, kind of pull that out so I get some layered look to my flowers. I love blends. And then last but not least, I'm going to take the Melon Mambo, but I think I'm just going to take the light Melon Mambo and just do some dotting in the middle. Oh, it's not very dark. Because I want to bring that color of the cardstock into it. So I am going to go darker too. If I can get the cover off, there we go. And I'm just putting some dots on it. And then you can see where it didn't really blend out so great. So I'm going to come back in with the light Pretty in Pink. Oh no, this is dark. I better use light. And just blend that out just a little bit more. Kind of blends those colors out a bit. And then we'll go ahead and I'll make these flowers pink too. And like, I'm not being real particular. I'm just kind of fast coloring them. Just so you're not sitting here the whole time watching me color. Although I do love to color. We'll go in with a little darker pink, just to give these a little bit of a shade. And then, if you want, you can go in with, I'll just do the dark Melon Mambo, and just add a few dots. And because this alcohol ink hasn't really had time to dry, it kind of, oh, I just got it everywhere. It just kind of spreads itself out. So there's the piece colored. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the dye. So this is the dye that I need. Let me grab my tape. I do like to use Post-it tape a lot. And that's just so I can lay out my dye exactly where I want it to cut. Line this up. And tape it down. And that way, when I run it through the machine, it won't move. So let me run this through the machine. I'll be right back. Hi, Carol. Glad you found me. I don't know what happened, Carol, but I got booted off the first live stream that I started. It said I didn't have enough, I don't know, internet speed or something. So it booted me off, so I had to start a whole new one. All right, I'm going to pop this out. Save these tapes because I'll use them a lot tonight. All right, so here is this piece. Now once I've done this, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm just going to use up these dimensionals. And you can see that the blends color right through the other side of the cardstock. And that's okay. That's kind of what it's supposed to do. And I'll add this to my card. And then I have this little strip here of just a scrap that I had laying around here. I like to use my scraps a lot for everything. And I'm going to go ahead and I want to show you this because my stamp did not get cut very well from Stampin' Up. So it has this big edge on it. And I can tell that I've caught edges on it. In fact, it's probably dirty from stamping. And so in order to save myself from that, I was kind of hoping I had my other best scissors. I'm going to cut this off. By cutting this much off, it'll save me from catching an edge like I did on this one here. In fact, see how I caught that edge there? I don't really want that to happen with these words, but I might even clean up this stamp a little bit and trim off some of this extra rubber. I don't know, must have got into the cutting machine a little wonky. All right, so I've got Love and Thanks. I'm going to practice on here first. It's pretty straight. And then I'm going to put it on here and hope for the best. Ah! All right, so I did catch an edge there, so I have to cut that side too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim these off at an angle. So actually every little mistake I have, not mistake, but flub up, I'm going to not have that so angled. There we go. Can be fixed. It's just a creative adjustment. So this one is ready to go. And I'm only going to put a dimensional on this side of it because it's going to lay flat on this. And this already has a dimensional on it. So lay that on there. There's my card. Now, the other thing that I did on here is I'm going to take some of this ribbon. And this is the white woven ribbon. I'm going to cut it off. And then I'm going to cut it in half. Because I just wanted a piece of ribbon that wasn't quite the 1/2 inch. I wanted it to be more like 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to use this and tie it in a bow. and hope for the best. I hope I cut it long enough. It's going to be very tight. There we go. Tie it in a bow, make my loops the size I want them. Pull it tight. I want this side a little bit smaller. There we go. All right, so once I've got that, let me grab my mini glue dots because they work the best. I'm almost out of mini, so I'm going to pull off a mini glue dot on here and kind of roll it. And I'm going to stick it on the back. I'm going to make this the back. I'm going to trim off this edge. And I'm going to add this little bow right onto my card. Like that. And then I can come in with these dots. Party dots are fun. So they're pretty in pink and pool party, and I'm not really sure what color that is. It coordinates with peach, it coordinates with a yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple of smaller dots on this card just to give it a little pizzazz, but there's your first card. So think outside the box and, you know, try your pool party with Melon Mambo. I like the combination. I like that color. All right, the next one is this one. We can remove these because we are done with those for now. We're only going to stick with Daffodil Delight and Pool Party from now on. All right, so this card uses a base exactly the same. Let me grab it and fold it in half. This one I actually scored this afternoon. So there's my first piece. I'm going to come in with this piece of vellum, the little flowers all over it, and I'm going to cut this to fit this base. Let me move that out of the way. All right, so we'll come here. So we have that one cut. And then I have this layer cut. Yeah, okay. Just have to make sure I have everything. All right, so again, I'm going to attach this vellum. And again, I'm so happy because the vellum, the tape doesn't show through. We're going to go ahead and attach this. And this time you can see I'm actually covering the whole base of the card. So there we go. And then we have this piece that I cut down. And I'm going to use it to cut out this frame. So this frame here, we're just going to lay it onto my cardstock where I want it. I'm actually going to tape it down because I don't really want it to move. So I'll come over to my embossing machine or my Stamp and Emboss. I've got the tape over here, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it down and add the tape to it. And run that through. All right. So then we have this great frame. Let me take the Post-it note off. Pull this out of there. All right. So I love this frame with those little dots. I think those little dots are really cute. That's just a really cute addition. And then this piece is also a piece that you can use. And I will use it on the next card. And that also has dash marks on it. But I like that shape. All right, so now we've got this piece. And this one is actually going to get layered right directly. Oh, I might have to, I think I mucked up my tape. See if I can fix it. Can I? It kind of slid off the front. I don't know. Oh, yep, I got it. Yay! All right, so we're going to go ahead and use the adhesive. Oh, good, it's working. One of the things I need to remember when I'm using this Stamp and Seal is when you're laying it down, don't press so hard. And once in a while, I'll go this way, and once in a while, I'll go that way. And then you won't have this plastic piece get tore off. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lay this down on my card base. So it just makes that nice frame. And then I'm also going to cut one of the vines. I'm looking for a scrap here out of this white. So let me run this through. So I'm running this through, but I don't really have to tape it down because it doesn't matter. It's just a die shape. So it's not cutting out a stamp image. So I've got that cut out. This ribbon is like following me everywhere. All right. So these little holes here are to help get that die released. So you can see where if you poke into the holes, it starts to release. And you need to be a little careful with this one because those stems are pretty thin. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. And this is actually going to get laid right in the middle of that card. And I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive kind of randomly on there because I'm placing that on there. And then we're going to take the flower stamp out of the stamp set. And we're going to ink that up with Memento. And stamp that down. And then we're going to color that. So we're going to, again, we're going to use the blends and the pool party for the leaves. Get the leaves colored in. I always use my blends from light to dark. I don't know, everybody does things a little bit differently. That's just kind of how I do it. Some people will color a little bit of dark and then blend it in with the light over the top of that, but do what works for you. I'm coming in now with Daffodil Delight, and I am starting with the lightest first. And coloring in these petals. And once I get this light Daffodil Delight, I'm going to come in with dark Daffodil Delight and color that in. And then just to help that blend out a little bit, I'll come back in with just a little bit of the light, just so I don't have any harsh lines. And then this is going to get cut out with this. So I'll line this up, I'll tape it down, I'll cut it out, I'll be right back. All right, run it through the machine. Take off the Post-it tape. And here is the little flower that I'm actually going to use a dimensional with, because I do want this popped up. And I'm going to add this kind of right there. And then I'm going to stamp a sentiment. Let me grab that sentiment out of the stamp set. Ink it up. look at it, make sure that I'm stamping it not upside down, which I have been known to do. Yay! I got it fairly straight and it didn't catch an edge. Yay! All right, so then I'm going to take some of that white ribbon and just tie a bow. I'm really living on the edge by leaving in that Memento Black open. All right, so I'm just going to pull those together and then kind of arrange my bow how I want it, how I want my loops. I don't want them too big. Pull it tight, cut it with a scissor, move that ribbon out of the way, and then I'm going to take a mini glue dot, add it to the back, and just attach it to my card. And there is card number 2. I just think these are really pretty. That vellum is really beautiful. And yeah, so okay, the next card uses this piece. Very similar. So our card base is the same. So, and then we're going to use this piece. So I'm going to take the flower stamp and ink it up. Make sure it's good and inked. And then I'm going to stamp it on this shape. And then I'm going to take the thanks so much. Ink that up. Make sure it's right side up. Stamp that right there. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. Okay, I'm going to put the cover on this before I make a mess. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm going to just use these same colors. I'm going to use the pool party for the leaves. Oh, here's the leaf. Quiet. All right. Come in with my darker pool party and add some shading onto these leaves. And I'm just adding shading on these on these little leaves where it's actually, you can see where it's got several lines. So I'm just assuming that could be where the shading is. And then on the bigger leaves, I'm going to add a little bit of pool party and kind of bring out the vein of the stem. Pretty simple. And then just to make it so that they're blended better and not so harsh, I'm just going to go right over the dark a little bit, just so I don't have any harsh lines. Now, on this one, I actually colored some of my flowers blue, but I think I'm going to color them all yellow because I love the yellow. Basically, I'm going to color them exactly like I did the last one. Starting with your light, color in these flowers. Color them all in, what the heck. Did I miss any? And then I'll come in with the dark. And just add some shading in there. I love this look. And then, again, just a little bit of blending so I don't have any harsh lines. You don't even have to fill the whole thing, just add some color. And then it kind of automatically blends itself out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and finish the card. And so on this one, I'm going to cut off the bottom end of this. It's all right that you're late, Cindy, because I got booted off the other station. So I had to start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to take a square of this vellum. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. So we have that one. All right, so we have this one. And then you just have to decide. I'm going to put it probably this way because I want more of those yellow flowers to show. So that's going to get adhered on there. And then I'm going to have a piece down here of this vellum. And all right. So if I think I have all my pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on first. And again, like I said, I love the seal because it doesn't show through the vellum. Lay that on there. This is a super easy card. And then this piece, I'm actually going to lay on this side. Like that. Now, the ribbon. So the ribbon that you have left, hopefully it's enough. All right, the ribbon I have left. So you're going to use 4 widths of this card to do a bow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will be enough to tie this around. And this is going to go totally around the whole card. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. So my big fingers get in the way. There we go. Yay! All right, so I made a bow, but then I can kind of slide it where I want it. So I'm going to actually do a little bit of maneuvering on this and move it over to the side. So I have room to put this piece on. So it even has to go over farther. So the knot is almost to the end of the card. And then this piece will fit on there like that. All right, but I got to get more dimensionals because I'm using them all up. Here, we'll use this sheet up now. I'll just use all dimensionals all night. All right, so the dimensionals I'm going to put on. I'll cut this. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I get some at the top and some on the sides. I don't want to do this bottom part because it's going to lean, it's going to hang over the card a little bit. You're going to love these cards because they're so pretty. And I think that these cards would be pretty with any designer series paper that we have. But I truly do like it with this vellum. I'm using up some sheets of dimensionals tonight. That's good. All right. So once I have that, I'm just going to slide this right onto my card base. I might move my ribbon down a little bit. and lay that on there. Ta-da! And then we will add a couple of Pool Party dots. You notice that I like my dots in groupings of odd numbers. So 3, 5. Anyway, there's the next card. I got one card left, and this is the one that I wanted to show you how to do that die. So I had a piece of this already cut out. So I'm gonna keep this for this card because I need it for the inside there. I need a card base. So again, the card base is gonna be the long way, hot dog style. That's a hot dog and hamburger. Always about food. All right, so I'm going to show you how I lined up on this lemon lolly cardstock. So you're going to take these two dies and you're going to lay them down, and this one's going to fall inside there. And all you want to do is make sure that it's inside there and there are no edges that, you want to make it even. You want to make sure that there's no edges actually up and over the other die. Once you've got it down where you want it, I recommend you tape it. Because if you don't tape it, it will definitely move. All right, so that's going to go through my machine. Let me grab the cutter from Boston Press, or the Cut and Emboss. Run this through. Now, when I was first looking at this card and how to use those two dies, I cut out I'll show you what I cut out. I cut out the inside piece first. I cut this piece first, and then I was like, well, yeah, but it doesn't cut it out of the cardstock. So, and then it occurred to me that you had to use both dies if you want it to be a separate piece. If you just want it to be a window in your card, just use the inside. All right, that Post-it tape has seen better days. And so I'll pull this off. And again, there's that darn, I love those dots. Look at how cute they are. And then we'll pull that die off. And then we have all these little pieces, and this might take a little bit of time. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of here. And do make sure that you punch the paper out of this before you use it again. I was having issues last weekend with one of my dies. Might have been this one. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't cutting. I was having so much trouble. And it didn't occur to me that there was paper stuck inside there. And so it was very difficult to cut with because there were several layers of paper inside there. This is just going to take a little bit of time. You could use the brush that we have. I just use my tip of my scissors or my fingers and punch all these out. I do have a video on using a dryer sheet, which I totally forgot about till I was with another group of stampers, and they were doing that with a dryer sheet. And when you cut it out with a dryer sheet, all these little pieces of stuff stick to the dryer sheet. And it's not a dryer sheet that you've used. It's one that has not been used. So then it also makes your card smell good. But I totally forgot about that until those gals were using that technique. And they were like, well, we learned it from you. Oh, I forgot all about that. That was years ago. All right. Get this all punched out here. It's just so pretty, so elegant. There we go. All right, let me move those scraps. So now I have this piece, and I'm going to add this piece on top of it. And so it's cut exactly how I need it to be. Okay, so I think for this one I might use some of this glue. I like the green glue because it's only called green glue because it's got a green tube on. It's actually multi-purpose, multi-liquid glue. But you can just put a little bit on there, and it takes a bit for it to dry, so you have a little bit of time. And this one, I want to make sure that I line this up to this piece. So flip this over, maybe, and then attach it. So you can see where I can kind of manipulate it and move it a little bit because that green glue, that multi-purpose glue, isn't dried yet. So it gives you a little bit of time to work with. Oops. I'm going to add this block on top of that just so that it will dry while I cut this paper. All right, so this time I'm going to use this piece of vellum again. Cut this down. This is like the fastest card. But it's so impressive. All right, so there's my piece of vellum that I need. I'm going to attach this to my card base. Making sure that I have a border around there. I'm going to attach this with dimensionals, and I have to go find another small sheet of them. I think I used up. My goal this week was to use up all the dimensionals that I had, like half used, partly used, edges. I did it. Now I can use this new sheet. Oh, the little rules that we make up for ourselves. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add this on. Like that. This is just going to get placed on there. How do I want it? I think I want it this way. Like that. Somewhere here I have a piece of ribbon. Oh, here it is. Which I think I have just enough to make a bow. Pull that. Make these loops a little nicer. There we go. I'll just use this side. Trim this off. Add a mini glue dot. Attach it to my card. And then I have a little strip here of cardstock. It's just a 1/2 inch strip. I save a lot of these strips only because I do a lot of sentiments that run across the card, and then I have all these little strips cut and ready to go that I'm cutting off my cardstock anyway. Now, if you want to make sure that you're straight, what you can do is ink it up and then go on a piece of grid paper. So when I'm looking at my stamp, I'm looking at this edge here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line it up with one of these lines here and stamp it. And it shows me that this side is a little bit higher than this side. So I just do a little bit of adjustment, just a tiny smidgen of adjustment. Not so well. There we go. That one's straight, but you can see it caught an edge. So I have to be very careful. We'll just do a little surgery on this stamp. So I won't catch that edge. I'm going to do a lot of surgery on these stamps. Probably tomorrow. It's too cold in this room tonight. Let's see how I did. Oh, pretty good. It's pretty straight. And again, I'm just going to trim off my edges. Add a little adhesive. Add this to the card. It could go anywhere. I think I'll put it there. A couple of different things. This one I actually used Old Olive. This one I just stuck with black. I wanted to stick with one ink pad tonight. And then we have to add some dots. And I'm going to go in with the blue. And we'll put 3. There. Card is done. Those are beautiful. Let me grab the cards. there's the cards. Tonight's cards, anyway. I think they turned out really cool. And I have this one that I kind of played around with and did using the same technique, only I used it on Pool Party, but the same vellum, and then I cut out a lemon lolly vine. So that was just another one I was playing with to play with. All right, if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask, because I'm not going to be in here much longer, because I'm telling you, it is cold. I made another big mess. Now I'll clean up. So thank you for coming. I'm glad you found me, for those of you who found me. I will actually probably send this out to my newsletter list tomorrow with an apology. I don't know what happened. I just didn't have enough bandwidth or didn't have enough speed on my internet or something. So I probably will not be on next Thursday for a couple of reasons. Number one, we are not getting above zero Monday through Friday. And this room used to be my garage, and it's not very well heated. I have a little tiny heater in the corner that runs 24/7, but it won't heat it up when it's that cold. So I kind of shut this off from the rest of the house when we get down below zero for days on end. Yeah, I will, Diana. The sun will shine in here. And the nice thing is the sun shines in, and so then it does get a little bit warmer during the day. But like I said, next week I won't be able to be in here. I need to shut this off for my whole house because it is going to be bitter, bitter, bitter cold. And I think tomorrow they said 8 inches of new snow. We have had several feet of snow in the last 2 weeks. So there's a lot of snow out there, which is great for the ski mountain. And you know, spring will be here soon. So everybody, I hope you have a good night. Thank you. And like I said, I'll send this out in my newsletter for those people that missed it. I really feel bad, but it is what it is. Welcome to technology. Have a good night. Bye-bye.